that was a fight or flight moment for me. And what did I do? I said, stay on the line. I went down to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and went down to the basement with the alarm force person on the phone with me. And I opened every single closet, half expecting someone to jump out at me. And there was nothing. So I don't know. It may have been a mouse. I don't know what it was. But I found out my true nature in that moment, which is fight.
The Kingston Canadian Film Festival proudly presents Rewind Fast Forward, a podcast where we chat with filmmakers about their work and the future of the Canadian cinema. My name is Thom Ernst. Welcome. Today's guest is Audrey Cummings. I'm a horror fan, so when I had the opportunity to do the Q&A at the Kingston Canadian Film Festival for the Canadian premiere of a new horror film called Berkshire County, it was touted as the revival of the 1980s babysitting horror flick. Well, I jumped at the chance. And as it turns out, the chance had me jumping quite often because Berkshire County is a well-crafted, tense, and delightfully frightening horror movie. And at the helm of it all is director Audrey Cummings. Audrey Cummings, thank you so much for joining us on a Rewind Fast Forward. It is a pleasure always to chat with you, but I think on this podcast particularly, since everybody's been separated for many, many, many months, and we can't get together any other way. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Well, thanks. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat again. Conversation.
We tend to always do have a good conversation when we run into each other. And I think part of that reason is because I'm so fascinated by the work you do. And I just revisited Berkshire County. Some people might recognize it as Tormented, which I think you did in 2014. At least it was.
14, yeah.
You know, I have to say, my memory of Berkshire County lacked somewhat. And when rewatching it, it was like, in some ways, I'd never seen it before. And I had to sort of squint and go, this movie really resonates so strong that I can't fathom why it disappeared from my memory originally, other than maybe some of the work you've done since, just sort of overtook it. But Berkshire County is really an effective film.
Thanks. Yeah, I had to fight hard for that movie. It was one of those things where I think Canada has come a long way jumping into horror. Horror was huge in the 70s here. I mean, we were leaders in the horror, with Cronenberg and Black Christmas and all these awesome movies. And then somehow it just kind of disappeared. And I think there's like a new wave of these of us genre filmmakers coming up now in Canada. And so when I did Berkshire County in 2014, I still had to really fight hard to get that made. Everyone was turning me down. So it was one of my kind of FU moments where I decided, you know what, I'm going to make this myself. So I had to fight to get that movie made. I put all my money on the line of credit cards, favors, friends, like everything I could do to get that movie made because I really believed in it. And and it took a lot out of me for a whole year getting that movie made. And then when we released it, it did incredibly well. We got into our premiere was at Shriekfest in Los Angeles and won the grand jury prize for best feature. And I was actually the first female to ever win in that festival. And that festival's like over 20 years old now. So
it's unbelievable when you realize things like that.
Yeah. And then it opened up. I mean, it just opened everything up for me. So I was really glad that I fought to get that movie made. It's very special for me.
I'm glad you did too. And to clarify, what's amazing is that in 20 years of the festival, you're the first female director to get an award or get that kind of acknowledgement. And women have been making horror movies for a while. Still, I bet you that's the question you get asked most. about being a woman and making horror films. It somehow seems in people's conscious that the two don't go together.
It's really weird. I don't get it. Women make up, I think, like over 50, maybe 51, 52% of the movie going audience for horror films. We love horror. Like, we love making horror. We love watching horror. So I don't know where that's ever come from.
Yeah, you would assume that the market is teenage boys, but I have read exactly what you're saying, is that the market really is younger women. It's natural to ask, do you have any idea why?
I don't, other than for me, it's like one of those, when you're watching a horror film, it's one of these, like, I guess you feel alive. Like all your senses are sharpened. Everything's like, more acute. I don't know. You just feel alive. And I think it's maybe an addictive rush somehow that you just, it's not what you experience in everyday life. So it's just this rush of endorphins and, I don't know, serotonin and whatever, adrenaline.
Yeah, I think that's an apt description of it. I used to say, when people asked why I loved horror movies, I would say it's the only time you could feel fear and still be completely safe.
Yeah.
And it's great to experience all emotions, even fear, but better to experience fear.
It's funny because I'm a big chicken, though, in real, like I'm scared of all kinds of things in real life. Yeah, I just, those creaky sounds at night, they tend to keep me up.
Yeah. Well, it took me well into my 40s and 50s before I started to go in the basement alone. I'm serious. I am serious. So you're a chicken. So then that makes me think that there's a babysitter in Berkshire County who's a chicken, is that you in some ways? Is that character reflection of who you are, or she reflection of?
Yeah,
yes,
probably. I think a lot of my characters I connect with them on some level. It's interesting though too, because you have a fight or flight response as a human being if something's going to scare you, and I guess you never really know if you're a flighter or a fighter until you're faced with it. And I had an experience like a few years ago. I have an alarm system in my house, part of being a chicken, I guess. And I was hearing some weird creaking sounds at night, and I sat up in bed, and 30 seconds later, my alarm system went off. And it was one of those like fight or flight moments. And then the phone rang because the alarm company called in, and I grabbed the phone, and she said the alarm was triggered in the basement. And I was like, oh. It's one of those moments where you're like, oh God. And that was a fight or flight moment for me. And what did I do? I said, stay on the line. I went down to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and went down to the basement with the alarm force person on the phone with me. And I opened every single closet, half expecting someone to jump out at me. And there was nothing. So I don't know. It may have been a mouse. I don't know what it was, but I found out my true nature in that moment, which is fight.
Good. And it is comforting having someone on the end of the line. So did this happen prior to Berkshire County or after?
After, yeah.
Interesting, because there's a lot of things that you said in that description of that event that kind of happens in the movie.
I know. It's everyone's worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm. I have to ask a few questions about Berkshire County just for my own edification. Originally, okay, first of all, the characters, almost every single characters change colors in some way, personal, except for, is it Marcus?
Yes.
Yeah, Marcus. He's the same throughout, and
he's
he's what?
He's the best little character.
Okay, I detested him, but that's
You're
just
supposed to.
Yeah, I think I was. But at first I thought, as a father of a daughter, at first I thought when the mother confronts her daughter, I thought that was one of the cruelest moments. It was actually a very difficult scene for me to watch. I thought the mother was being very cruel, very insensitive, and my empathy for your lead character was, if I could have jumped in the screen and gave her an affectionate, a supportive hug.
Yeah, especially in the shower, she was just I mean, it was symbolic of her just being fully, I guess, open and vulnerable. That's the word. Yeah. Even during that scene when we were shooting it and Alyssa was doing it, I remember tearing up because I agree with what you're saying. I mean, it's a beautiful moment for that character where you really feel empathy for her. And a lot of kids go through that. A lot of kids have parents who are really hard on them, or, schoolmates that are bullying them, or that's what I wanted to do with this film. Is I wanted to take one of my favorite types of movies, the 1970s, babysitter in peril type movies, and just make and refresh it with what, contemporary issues, cyberbullying and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did. I do remember you saying that at the premiere of this show at the Kingston Film Festival, where we first met and then continued to meet at subsequent festivals there. And you did say that this was a throwback to those kind of genre babysitter in peril films.
Yeah.
And it really helps knowing that, because you do look at sort of some of the tropes that you think might have been 70s related. I wonder what you think those tropes were.
I don't know. I mean, a lot of the tropes, there are some tropes like tripping and falling, things that I don't love myself in a movie. And I tried not to really put them in there. I don't know.
That's an interesting. You don't love yourself in a movie. You don't love to see touches that are uniquely Audrey. Right. Am I correct? Sorry, I just had was wondering if there was a moment, but you like to see a film that is completely removed to who you are as a person, then? Not necessarily?
I don't know. I mean, I think instinctively, there's a lot of me in every movie, and a lot of people can watch my movies and say they know it's my movie. I don't know that it's anything that's tangible. I think it's something that naturally, I guess, comes out as I'm creating and developing, and I don't know that I necessarily know what that is. I don't know.
Right. Well, I am asking you about a film you probably haven't had to think about in a long time, and I just freshly watched it, and I was really pleased. I just went. The energy I felt watching this movie again was really satisfying. I will say also, what was not a trope that was unique in this film from the 70s, sitter in peril, unless I've seen the wrong ones. It took a while for her to step up to what she had to do.
Yeah.
She was a lousy babysitter at first.
Of course. Yeah. There's a lot of those around. Lousy babysitters, selfish teenagers,
It happens. They go through that stage. I will not speak of my own teenager at this moment, who is actually just starting to get interested in horror movies. I've got her to see a few. Oh, it took forever. I'm looking for a horror companion within this household that I can enjoy horror movies with, and
that's nice.
I'm trying to raise one. She never died.
Yeah.
That movie, right from the bat, it was funny. It was exciting. It had a lot of great kills in it.
Yeah. And
it was a revenge flick. Now, are you equally as fond of the revenge genre as you are the babysitter genre?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think maybe my problem is I love everything. Like I love watching movies. I love everything. And for me, it's more it's less the genre of movie and more the experience and having the right character arcs, and just having the right kind of storylines that I connect to versus necessarily the genre. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this one, Olanuke, who played Lacey, I mean, she was in my previous feature film, Darken, that I had done, the sci-fi thriller with Shaftesbury. And as soon as She Never Died came my way, I knew exactly that Olanuke would take this film to where I thought it could go. Yeah.
What in the script? Was it always Olanuke? Certainly in your head, but in the script, was it a I can't think of a better word to say, and maybe it'll come to me. But was it culturally specific?
No.
Pardon?
No, I mean, it was supposed to be He Never Died 2.
Okay.
Originally, because when they did He Never Died with Henry Rollins, they didn't expect the film to become such a cult hit. Mm-hmm. Henry's got this huge fan base. People just chanting Henry, like people love Henry. And so they decided that they were going to do He Never Died 2. And A71 Pictures at the time, they decided that they were going to produce. It was going to be their first production. He Never Died 2.
They're distributors, aren't they?
Yeah. And this He Never Died 2 was going to be their first produced film. And they were 6 weeks away to prep. And Henry got a big offer he got swept away in TV world. And I think because the film had been postponed once or twice leading up to that, anyways, it didn't work out, let's just say. And so they called me and they were like, what are you doing in 6 weeks? I was like, why? And then we had to basically take He Never Died 2 and flip the film into She Never Died and give the main character their own, essentially it was, okay, we're going to do another fallen angel. It's going to be a female and go with it. And
right.
So for me, immediately, I was like, Olanuke, she's the one, she's the first Lilith, feminist woman who stood up for herself. I was like, she's perfect.
And I'm completely aware that if Olanuke was anybody else, I wouldn't have asked if it was culturally specific, and that says something about where we are. And I'm glad to hear that it wasn't. And I also know you well enough to know that wasn't a consideration either for you.
No.
But the film does resonate so well as a revenge drama, as a comedy, believe it or not. And it just, what we just heard you say about the flip, it sounded easy. I can't imagine.
It was not easy. I can talk about it now, but it was challenging because it's not as simple as changing a script from, he to a she.
Right.
You got to create the character. And then once you create the character, there's this trickle down effect. So, the sidekick no longer works because it was supposed to be his sidekick. And now, that no longer works. And then, Peter McNeil, who played Godfrey, the detective, like everything just changed. And so I ended up, I didn't even have time to do real casting sessions or anything. I just went off gut instinct, who I immediately thought would be amazing for the role, who would kill it, and so that's kind of how I cast it.
Yeah. How exciting for you, though, to be in this career, because clearly this is what you trained for. This is what you loved. Are you at all surprised that Audrey Cummings, when you look at Audrey Cummings, the young girl, the teenager who went to horror films, and the Audrey Cummings, a mother making films, is it at all ever a pinch me moment for you?
No, because I work my butt off. And nothing's been easy. it's just been everything's a fight. Everything's a mountain to climb, something to overcome. Everything is challenging and difficult. When it feels fun, and those pinch me moments, I guess, could be like at a film festival when you win, for those those one little moments when you're just like, oh my God. But ultimately, it's just so much hard work.
Then why this disposition? Why this really easygoing, friendly, open disposition?
I don't know. I was born like that, I guess.
Well, good. Do you? Okay, so you're telling us how difficult it is. You're telling us that it doesn't come easy, and you're telling us that no, this is not a miracle. This is from hard work.
Yeah.
So people that are coming into what you are doing, whether they be male, female, other, recommend it, warn them, prep them. What do you do?
Yeah, it's a tough question. I would say you got to be someone who, you got to have tough skin. You got to be able to accept the thousands of no's you're going to get, but also not accept the no's, like I did with Berkshire County. Don't accept them. And you got to be willing to, I guess, to press your will upon every human being every step of the way. Even when somebody says yes and green lights the movie, you still have to keep pressing your will up until the, 2 years, even 2 years after the movie's made. I mean, you still, there's so much work and so many people involved. And it's such a big, it's such a big creative process. And I would say you just gotta keep pushing.
What about the community? And I don't mean the film community at large, but let's narrow it down to the community of horror filmmakers.
Yeah.
Or people who make horror films, and then narrow it then even further after you talk about that to women making horror films.
There's not a lot of us out there. I think it's opening up, which is great. But I just remember coming up, the ranks. Okay, I'm going to tell this story. I'm not saying who, where, what, or when, but I'm going to tell this story. When I was trying to pitch Berkshire County, I was told, this is a real story, I have people that could prove this is real, said to me, why do you want to make a horror? You're a woman. Mm-hmm. That's exactly the fights we've had. And I've had people say to me, because I had made a short film from the Film Center. Actually, I made like 9 short films, but the one from the Film Center that I did called Burgeon and Fade was very successful. And it was a drama. It was beautiful, touching little short. It played at the Kingston Film Festival. And I had people say to me, why don't you, do some dramas, make some dramas. You're good at it. And I was like, I like genre movies. And so I think a lot of women, any of us back then that were trying to make genre films, and why there's not very many of us around is just, you end up just against this pressure of people not thinking you can do it. And at the end of the day, we're not really killing people here. It's fake blood. Like I'm not killing children. It's all fake, people. And so I think now it's all opening up, and I think it's really great to see there's a lot more, young up and coming female genre directors. So it's opened up for people, Is
there someone that you're particularly fond of, or some that we should be looking out for?
Well, I saw this year at a film festival. I saw a movie. Oh crap, my brain today.
Okay, we can give you time to.
Her name is Lisa Ovies, and she did this movie called Puppet Killer. It's called Puppet Killer. It's hilarious. She did a really good job with it. So I was quite impressed with her this year after seeing her movie in New York City. We both screened at the New York City Film Festival together.
So she had a chance to see your film too.
She did, yeah.
Okay, so you guys go out for lunch.
Each other.
Yeah.
And we've stayed in touch. We've created a nice friendship. She's awesome, and I would help her in a heartbeat if she needed anything. If there's anything I could help her with, but yeah.
Excellent. I mean, it's not often that 3 films into a career that you actually have are able to establish a name for yourself, but you've been able to do it. And that's got to be gratifying. I mean, to know that all that hard work, even though I remember Norman Jewison saying he couldn't get a movie made that he wanted to make. And and this is Norman Jewison when he was younger. And I went, "You're Norman Jewison." And he says, "It doesn't matter. It is never easy."
Yeah.
So even though you have made a name for yourself, probably just about everyone's going to take your phone call. It's still a battle, correct?
Yeah, it's still a battle because there's always a next level, So it's like, well, now it's, well, can she do the $100 million film? Yes, I can do a $100 million film. What's the, other than paying actors super high, super high salaries and having bigger, VFX budgets, which would be amazing. More stunts, more location. Like, it's the same thing. But then, so you constantly have more. There's always going to be another fight. There just is.
Then you're going to have producers breathing down your neck a little harder at 100 million. And actually, who's kidding who? It's going to be 200-300 million.
Yeah, it better be.
That's got to be a little disconcerting. So I did notice that on your IMDb, there is another movie coming up. Are we talking about that yet?
For me or anything for Jackson?
Anything for Jackson. Is that the title that I saw on IMDb?
That's on IMDb. I did not direct that. I'm on as an exec producer, lending my skills. That's it. But I do have a bunch of things in the works. Just waiting for one of them to be greenlit first, let's just say.
Wow.
Hey film fans, it's Moira, the producer here, just giving a big shout out to this episode's sponsor, County Soda. If you've attended the Kingston Canadian Film Festival in the past, you might have sampled one of these delightful beverages. Blackcurrant is a personal favorite. Now, you can check them out at countysoda.ca for more information. Back to the show.
I do know that you are a parent. And a parent, is this okay to talk about? You're a parent of a daughter?
Yep.
I just wanted to know about your reaction because women are a very prominent element in the movies of yours that I have seen, which have been all of them except for the shorts.
Yeah.
Even when we get to the little girl in Berkshire County who you're the character's babysitting, did you catch me? I almost said who you're babysitting. She's the one that the babysitter talks to about being brave, about getting through this. Not the boy. The boy, is there and he's not unimportant, but she identifies with the girl and she's feeding a confidence and bravery towards the girl. And because I know you're a mother, I couldn't help but think, is that character talking to her daughter? To Audrey's daughter in the script version, maybe not directly, but there's something about passing the torch of confidence, of bravery on to the next generation.
True. I would agree with that statement. I don't think I was thinking that in that film necessarily, but it's true. I mean, you do want the young generation to learn from the hardships you had throughout your life and how to not be stuck in those, and be brave, stand up for yourself and, be kind and be empathetic to everyone. And just, you do want to teach those messages for sure.
Yeah, they come through. There, it does seem to be a little bit of a political edge to She Never Died. That might be just because she's a woman in that film. Or is that? Do we need to sort of say it's a movie with women in it, or is it sort of somehow by saying there's a message there because all the leads are women, because the strength is women? Does it necessarily have a political edge to it?
I don't think so. But again, it's one of those things where I was saying, like, stuff that you don't necessarily know comes out when you're in the creative process. But like, I love that it's all women. I love that it's like, it's not like you set out to do that kind of thing. But in the end, I always end up loving I don't know, what I'm creating and what it is. And so I just loved having this film with all these strong women in it. And I don't know if it's political, maybe, but I never really set out to do that necessarily.
Well, I think there can be politics in creating something that is honest from the creator's perspective. And that is, I think, what you're telling us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't imagine there would ever be a change in your films in that tone. I think you will. Again, we're 3 films in. Who knows what is going to happen down the line for Audrey Cummings? But it seems to me that your innate sensibility is a championing women, whether it's championing women in film or championing women through film.
I would agree. I'm thinking forward to all these films I'm working on that are hopefully going to get made very soon. And it's all strong, awesome women characters.
Mm. Do you promise that regardless how big of a budget? Well, I guess you can't really make the promise, but let's make a sort of fun promise.
All right. I'll promise. What?
If you get the $400 million budget film, will you still bring it to Kingston?
Oh my God. Yes. Okay, here's a little plug for Kingston. I've been to so many festivals around the world. Kingston Film Festival is still hands down my favorite festival.
It's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It's so much fun, and yet it's still so personal. You know, you get there and you're just treated so well. As opposed to just arriving at a festival and going through everyone's going through the motions and you're being rushed. I just find this festival takes its time to treat its filmmakers really well, to treat its audience really well. The city loves the festival. The filmmakers love the festival. Like, every time I go, it's a great experience.
I think you just made the promo reel. Audrey, I want to let you get back to the ocean. I want to let you get back to writing. Thank you again. It's absolutely always a delight to chat with you. But before we go off, I guess we should make reference to this past Kingston Festival that didn't happen, and that's where you, as a matter of fact, as we both were the last dinner in a restaurant companion I had, because the COVID hit. She Never Died had one screening.
So it had 2 sold out screenings. Mm-hmm. And the first night, so I came down a day early to talk to Queen's University, the film department, about my experiences in filmmaking. And then that afternoon, I went to, I guess it was like a high school career day kind of thing, with high school students who want to go into film, and you talk to them. And then I went to go get ready to my hotel to go get ready for my big first screening. And then by 6:00, I think it was 5:30 or 6:00, the whole festival just shut down.
Yeah.
And then I went to the box office where I ran into you, and we were like, well, let's go out for dinner.
My favorite restaurant, Amadeus. Yes. My favorite restaurant in Kingston. Aside from this great steak place. But anyway. Yeah.
Oh, mine is Walk-In. The Walk-In. Have you been?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think
Walk-In. It's on Montreal and Princess. It's on Montreal Street, right at the cross of Princess there. And they have noodles and spring roll and like this curry chicken dish. They're my 2 favorite dishes. I could eat them.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. It's just off the main street, isn't it? on the side. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, that's where we're going to meet next time we're at the Kingston Festival together.
Yes, I would love that.
Thank you again, Audrey.
Thanks, Thom. Take care.
All right, you take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you to Audrey Cummings for sharing her time with us. You can find out more about Audrey's films and career at her website, audreycummings.com. Rewind Fast Forward is hosted by Thom Ernst and produced with original theme music by Moira Demorest. That's me. Big shout out to County Soda. Thanks for keeping us hydrated with your delightful artisanal beverages. Support for this podcast comes from the Kingston Canadian Film Festival, which is situated on the traditional homeland of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Huron-Wendat. This podcast is generously funded by the Canada Council for the Arts. Thanks for listening.